Hello, folks. Donald Brooks with you again with my dear friend Eduardo Longoria. And this is part two of the show we started last time. And I'm going to let Wayo talk a little bit about, he made a comment about comparing the United States, with the fall of the Roman Empire. And I want him to just say a little more about that. But before you start talking, Eduardo, let me apologize for rushing you. Oh, and let me apologize for one more thing. I wasn't prepared to give you a gift last time, so you took my tie. I hope it looks good on you. Mm-hmm. But I'm prepared this time. No one leaves Dawn Brooks show, not a guest, without getting a gift. And I know you have to struggle to pay for your coffee, so you have a gift from the Dawn Brooks show.
I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
Okay, he has a gift. I don't have to buy your coffee for you anymore. You can buy your own, okay?
You're so generous, Donald.
Okay, Eduardo. So why don't you continue to talk about comparing the United States with the Roman Empire and any other comments you'd like to make?
Well, I'm not just the Roman Empire is one example of empires that fall. The pendulum is always going to swing. So, as civilizations grow and prosper, they hit a tipping point and then they go the other way. Mm-hmm. The Greeks, the Egyptians, the Chinese.
Right.
And the question we all need to be asking is what's happening in the United States? At what is our position within that swinging of the pendulum? Uh-huh. Now, I said last time, and I'll say it again, that when people need to be entertained and pay millions of dollars to sports athletes, and that endeavor doesn't put food on the table for the hungry, it doesn't put a roof over the head of the homeless. Mm-hmm. I think it's a clear indication that the pendulum is swinging towards decay, towards corruption, and the things that we're witnessing. Now, you and I'm 80, you're reaching 80, and so we've seen a lot.
You're not 80, okay? You're not 80, but he's not 80, folks. That's another story. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, in just a few days, I'll be 80. The point being, not that I've lived a long time.
Yeah.
I always wonder when you and I are going to be the elders in the room.
Well, I think if it was a room full of people right now, we'd still be the elders.
True enough. So from that perch, the idea that we have been around a long time, we've seen the swing of the pendulum. Mm-hmm. We've seen the strength of the United States. And that's not where we are today. There's still wonderful, productive people. But then, so by the way, I'm an immigrant. Uh-huh. And I deal with many immigrants. And I see the kind of work that gets done. You and I worked together for almost 40 years in the hospitality business. And you and I know that what held up that business were the immigrants.
Yes, I've always given them the credit and always said that, yes.
And this is a nation of immigrants.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so adamant about them politicizing this thing about illegal aliens crossing the border. But that's another story. But yeah, I know.
But it weaves together with a bigger story.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah. And the bigger story is to recognize what's happening. Mm-hmm. We need to be in recognition of these things. We need to be in recognition that we need to honor the immigrants because they're leaving their families. Mm-hmm. They're leaving their known way of life for the uncertain, but all with the spirit of doing better.
Yeah.
They need to be acknowledged. And that's not what's happening.
No, it's not what's happening. And while this is my opinion, I really believe that they made this such a political thing about the immigrants, about the legal immigrants, and the people that are making this, especially the Republican Party, really don't care about the immigrants. They don't care about protecting the border. It's just
to get the votes.
Yeah, it's just a voting.
To get the votes.
Yeah, I really believe that.
And I think a nation in prosperity doesn't go there.
Yeah.
I think a nation in prosperity, there's more coherence. And we're getting the opposite right now. In fact, I think one of the candidates for the presidency is a showman. and it's part of the going to a basketball game or a football game. Watching politics is kind of like a sport, and I don't think that who gets elected means that we're going to have more roofs for the homeless and more food for the hungry.
Yeah.
That happens at the ground level with people like you and I, who are in an industry to feed people, to shelter people. So anyway, so once we recognize that there's a problem, now we have to talk about what is the solution.
Yeah.
And I know you like to keep these short, and this could be a series. So next time we meet, we can talk about...
Wait a minute. You're being a little presumptuous. Did I say there was going to be a third time? I mean, this is my show, you know.
Well, you got me there.
There will be another time, Wyatt. There will definitely be another time, my friend. Hey, I enjoyed this, and I'm sure my audience enjoyed it too. And one last thing I have to say, not because I have to get the last word, but you know, America, we're a country of ignorance. Most people don't understand what the Democrats represent, what the Republicans represent. They vote for personalities, like you said, a showman. And that's what's sad about it. And I think people like like Donald Trump and the Republican Party knows that. They know how to strike the fear in a person and how to be a showman. Okay. And that's so kind of sad.
Now, because you just said that, I've got to say something else.
Oh, my goodness. He's got the last word.
How is it possible that the third candidate and the other candidates aren't being mentioned? And I feel an obligation to mention that Robert Kennedy Jr. is a fine, service-oriented, mindful, intelligent...
Stop, because what you've just done, you're smart. He's made me I now have to invite him back for a third thing, and we'll talk about Robert Kennedy Jr. You've done it.
Well,
you've done it.
I don't want to leave this without inviting everyone as an obligation, as a citizen, to learn and listen to Robert F. Kennedy. Don't listen to the stories about him.
Listen about him.
Listen to him.
Okay. We'll talk later. Thank you, Eduardo.
Always a pleasure.
How do we cut it?